Hey, what is going on, you guys? My name is Rage, and we are back today with a quick update video in regards to the response that was actually provided by the scope lead and developer team with respect to the state of the game report. So for those of you who may or may not be aware, in the past couple of months and weeks, there has been a lot of turmoil in terms of players being frustrated, alliances falling apart, and finally a very well-equipped state of the game report provided by the community, well represented by multiple alliances and leadership. This was prepared in advance to really initiate a meeting as well as establish a player voice council, so that way we are getting better communication, obviously with the developers, but especially in empowering the players and community and trying to make this game the best game as possible, but as well being able to communicate issues and concerns in a more streamlined manner. So having said that, there was a meeting that took place today, guys, and fortunately enough, it's great to see that the developers and the leadership, community representation, as well as the community manager actually issued a statement here on behalf of the game. So we're going to be unpacking this letter, as well as providing to you what my thoughts are, and as well what kind of upcoming changes we can look forward to as a player. So let's go ahead, guys. Firstly, I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you to everyone who took the time to be a part of the State of the Game report. We know how much time, effort, energy went into creating this document. The passion you all show for the game is something that we deeply appreciate, and without you, Marvel Strike Force would not be the game it is today. We heard you loud and clear, and we can promise you that we will be making some drastic changes in the way we operate the game moving forward. This game has recently undergone leadership change, and with the change in leadership, you should expect positive changes to how we run the game on multiple levels. Far too long, we've operated as a closed-off studio, and all players' voices seem to fall into a void. We do not want to continue to operate in this fashion, and look forward to closely collaborating with the community and making Marvel Strike Force into the most amazing Marvel experience of all time. While we know we have a lot of work ahead of us to reach that goal, we do believe it can be achieved given the community that we know that loves this game as much as what the developers do. In the coming days, we'll be responding to each of the topics that have been brought up in the report. While we may not align all the points in the report, it is safe to say that we've been thinking and working on addressing many of the major changes you have with the way you've been operating in the game. As a good faith gesture, we wanted to flag the few points that we've heard from the community, and we will be taking immediate action on. So this is really going to be unpacking in terms of what we can be expecting, folks, especially with the updates that are going to be coming about in the next few weeks. It's definitely great to see the seriousness and tone from the leadership, especially Ryan Jacobson here, who is the general manager representing the game, but as well as being that voice for us. And again, guys, keep in mind, this happened only a couple of hours after the meeting, so great to see that the response was immediate, but as well, they already had this letter issued, so that way it could address not only the concerns of the community, but as well as getting some immediate feedback right away that they've heard us, and they've heard, definitely seen that a lot of players have been vocalized and unhappy with the game for quite some time. So for each of these points, these are some of the updates we can look forward to, folks. Gold. While we are working on future gold injections, we're immediately going to be adding recurring gold rewards into the War Season rewards. Players will see this reflected in-game June 18th with the first payout on July 2nd. Next up, Agency. We are committed to improving, expanding theory crafting opportunities. Dark Dimension 6 was the first step for us. We'll also be less prescriptive in Cosmic Crucible starting the next season, as well as in raids, starting with the next iteration of Incursion raids. And then last but not least, this is what I mentioned earlier in the intro, was that the MSF Player Council, it's happening. The internal discussions have begun, and the first meetings are booked to iron out the details of the player voice representatives. Thank you. We look forward to working with you and the community as we move forward together. So definitely lots to unpack, guys. Just the seriousness of this tone is really good because of the fact that they've definitely provided feedback and really addressed and asserted themselves that they've heard what we've been complaining about in regards to how the state of the game is, and they know that the quality of life is not the best right now, especially with the amount of time being put into the game, but as well as the game modes that some are enjoyable, some aren't, and these are definitely some reassuring signs. So first off with the gold, while they are working on the future gold injections, they're going to be immediately adding this into the War Season. So I mean, it would have been nice for them to at least kind of tell us how much gold, because I think this is going to be the number one question for a lot of players reading this. Is just just because you're adding gold that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a lot, because what we've seen from the past anyways is that they've definitely missed their mark on this. So my only words of advice is that hopefully you can obviously be factoring in, considering the different level progressions we've had. Now that the max level is 95, they have to do a better job scaling that gold. I'm also interested to see if in the future they're going to be revising, reworking gold orbs. That would have been a nice point to touch on, because instead of just saying, adding additional gold injections, I want to see like what other initiatives, because obviously with the war season rewards, is that enough? That remains to be seen, and also the amount that's going to be added is what's in question. But I mean, the fact that they've addressed it immediately is a really good starting point. Agency. I know a lot of players obviously have vocalized that they're not happy with the game modes, and Cosmic Crucible used to be a fan favorite for many until this recent season, where pretty much we were running the same cookie cutter teams for similar rooms, right? So what would be nice is going to be obviously adding more of the theory crafting opportunities with the Cosmic Crucible. It used to be a time where you could create new teams, have different synergies, and really try to create a dynamic where you can throw off the attacking players, and that way, those can be some really definitive teams that then get obviously passed around. But what I did enjoy about it the most was the creativity side, and that's definitely something that took a step back with this new season. So I'm glad they definitely discussed that. But having said that, hopefully the new rooms in the future are going to be less restrictive, and by that it will allow us to be able to kind of create some more synergies. Having the traits like Eternals being classified as obviously being part of that tangled web, that's kind of the start of it, right? Forcing us to build teams we may or may not want to build, or teams that we have to slot in obviously to maximize the benefits and buffs from that room. Dark Dimension 6 is definitely a huge step, because I think it is one of the better areas of the game where theory crafting is encouraged. However, it directly aligns and goes against what many players are doing for Apocalypse, right? So do they go for the big Apocalypse as opposed to Dark Dimension? There's gonna be a conflicting gear requirement, and what I hope that or wish that they would have touched on in this point is just even addressing the gear, right? We've addressed the gold requirements for training up characters, but we haven't discussed how the gear is improving. Mind you, it has definitely been better when we take a look at the store purchases and what's available, but it's just something that has not been addressed as of late, and with better orbs and so forth, it's going to definitely allow us the opportunity. So hopefully there's some verbiage there. And then last but not least, the MSF Player Council. It's definitely happening, which is great to see, because that's honestly what the true goal of this report was, right? Establishing a continuity voice that can be in connection with not just the developers, but as a really effective way to communicate issues, obviously before they arise, and even when they do, it's a great way to kind of jump on it before it goes into the mainstream and into obviously the community frustrations. So if that's going to happen, that's huge. I think it's going to be just a large quality of life, as well as control of the issues that happened beforehand. My only fear for this is that I hope it doesn't turn into a situation with the envoys where the envoys were supposed to be the ones acting on behalf of the community and speaking directly to the community manager himself. And where has that really got us? To be honest, not far. So the MSF Player Council is more representative of the community, which I'm very, very appreciative and grateful for. But we have to make sure here that there is going to be some objectivity here, and I think that's going to be the most important point. This could be another situation of Envoy 2.0, and that's not a jab at any of the envoys. It's out of their control, obviously. It's more so making sure that their voice is also heard, and then ultimately making sure that the community is heard. So definitely lots to unpack, folks. Definitely updates that we're going to be seeing, but we'll keep a close eye on things. Hopefully you guys are able to at least get some better feelings on this, but I hope that these changes do come, and I hope they do bring back Alliance members that have previously left. Maybe they can see that this positive change will reinvigorate how they feel about the game, and that's ultimately going to be better off for the rest of the game and the community. So let me know what you think in the comments below, guys. I know this is going to be some big changes, but it's definitely exciting, and I'm really grateful that they did hear the majority of the concerns of the players and are reacting and already have a setup of plan here for us. Thank you as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.